Magnetism.
Oh, we have, okay, she is joining us. All right, cool. Okay, so how are you?
Hello, I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Good. Update me.
Good.
What's happening?
Well, to be honest, like it's just insane. Like these 4 weeks have been incredible because I really feel like practically not much has happened, but I feel like a brand new person. So I listened to your voice note last night and when I was going to bed, and then I got up this morning and I just was like, life is now. Like life is actually happening now. And do you know what blew my mind? I don't know what it came to me, but I was like, the whole, like you've been saying about becoming the magnetic woman. I'm like, it's just crazy to me because it just blew my mind the fact that actually being magnetic is actually just allowing myself to be me unapologetically and owning all parts of my voice, my perspective. And I was like, oh, why is it taking so long to like land and to fit in? And I'm like, oh my God. So today's just been such an incredible day where I actually did like loads of visualizations around like being the magnetic version of myself. And I'm like, I'm already that. I just need to show that. So it's just insane. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's like a quote I heard that my mentor said, like, if you owned exactly where you are, you'd be where you want to be. And it's
Yeah.
like literally the truth because we try to keep like fighting, like, where I'm at and what I have isn't good enough. And then we're missing out on the people that are like in awe of that, that want that, that are like, oh, that's just like exactly where I need to be. So, yeah, I mean, I always use this as an example because I think people stereotype what results are worth owning, especially when your work's more like energetic identity stuff and it's not right away like, oh, I can help you make money or get the guy or so like even though my mentor is like a feminine embodiment love relationship, she doesn't
Hmm.
market herself as a regular like dating coach because otherwise it would just be all of her content would be about here's what to text him back, like here's how to show up for the date. It's a very low value way of
Yeah.
representing her work, but she leads a lot with like, and if you want to see her profile, I always use her as an example because she's amazing, but she always talks about you, like you being like the love of your own life. She calls it being in your honeypot. And so it's like, what does that mean? Well, it's how do you look at the guy? Like, how do you show up when you communicate? So she like breaks it down in her pillars of like, how does like the woman who's in her honeypot, um, era. Like, how does she communicate in love? How does she view herself? How does she heal? Right. So that it was like, I just wanted to be the honeypot when I signed up with her. I didn't like it was kind of like this assumption and that like eventually and at the right time and in God's hands, like the right partner is going to come in. But if it was just about that, it would have totally cheapened her work a lot and
Hmm.
it wouldn't have made it any different from anyone else, right?
Yeah.
That like is in that category. And so that's what made it different. But also, I was at the point where I just looked at that in awe because I didn't even have the emotional capacity to think about being in another relationship beyond my ex. And so it was like, I just want to get to a place where I'm waking up every day feeling like I'm the love of my own life, like everything's rolling off my shoulders. I don't care if like someone ghosts or doesn't get back to me. Like I don't even notice because I'm like so into how I'm treating myself, how I'm showing up. And so I'm there, right? So now it's just like a matter of time. And even when things are getting reflected back to me, and this would be really good for you to point out in your work, like
Mm.
even when, and this is what she does, like even when you're in your honeypot, it's like when the guy ghosts, like what happened to me Monday night, was all ready to
Yeah.
go for my
Yeah.
date, like had my hair done and everything. But the difference is when he didn't get back to me and the date didn't happen and he fell off the face of the earth, um, a year ago when I like was anti honeypot, guess you should say a year and a half ago, I would have been bitching on the phone to my sister, saying, like, well, what do you think happened? I would have cryptically been looking at his social media if he's online. Like, did he die? Like, I would be like over analyzing text messages. And this would go on and on and on for probably like another month of
Hmm.
being drained by trying to like gain control, super attached to like what it meant about me. And fast forward, it's like, yeah, I had like a moment of like, wow, this sucks, or I was really looking forward to that, or whatever. Talked about it with my mentor, then was like, what does the magnetic woman do? Okay.
Yeah.
So your identity that you're selling should be your driving force.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, my hair's done. I'm gonna shoot a bunch of content. Like,
Okay.
what a loser. Like, I'm just gonna shoot a bunch of reels. So
Yeah.
it's what's gonna make you magnetic to a client is also real and raw honesty. So it's like your embodiment content isn't always look at, what a Tuesday looks like for me now. Because that, when it's all about just where you're at and how great things are, people are like, okay, well, that's not realistic. Like, what happens, Michelle, when you like have a bad day or a client says no? Or like, what do you do when something unexpected, like what happened this past week?
Yeah.
How did you handle that? How did you reframe it? Like, what was your way of being this self-led woman and like
Hmm.
leading yourself through it? So, I'm not going to use the dating example because I don't want to give him more energy, but like I could use something that came up in business or hate comments that I was getting or like cryptic posts about me or something like that. And then I'm going to own that as like, here's what I did instead.
The
And
craziest, oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
The craziest thing is, and this is what I'm like, Michelle, oh my goodness me, like sometimes I ignore my own self. When I first found out I was a media, my mentor said to me, oh my, you're at, and I just owned the fact that I had no idea what I was doing. And I was just like, well, I have no idea. And my feedback has been incredible. And I'm most magnetic when I'm in my channeling state because I'm just in the flow and I'm, channeling. And then it comes to me today and I'm thinking, oh my God, own that you don't know marketing, you don't know sales. I'm in the empire for a year that I've just signed up for. Like, I don't need to be acting like I have built a business. I just need to act on my desire, the fact that I'm in the process of building my business. So I was like, oh my God. I'm like, so it's just insane because,
Because isn't that an outcome of hers that she wants? Like an
yeah,
example, right? Like I want to be able to finally move forward on the business that I'm creating. Well, you're already past that point.
yeah.
So like if you just own that and it was like, okay, what did you do identity wise? And like, how did you get to a place where you felt so empowered, felt so sure, like now's the time, life is now, like what needed to shift? And you're just breaking down what you would take her through if she were a client wanting to get into her business, stop stopping herself, self-sabotaging. You're just owning, like, here's what I did. And because of that, that's why, like, now I'm in a year-long program. I'm like so clear on my content. I like know exactly like, what to do. And so it's like that in itself, people always want to make it about money. And I'm like, but that doesn't even make sense with your work. Like it's like,
No. Do you know what I realised? Everyone in the industry talks about like what they've achieved and what they've done and who they are. And I'm just thinking, I just kind of got by but just hoping for the best and just showing up for myself every single day. And I just realised that I'm like, I can just show that. Like, so like when in terms of like business, I didn't see my results as significant enough because they're not shiny results that everyone else has. And I'm like, I'm still surviving and I'm still okay and I'm still showing up for myself and investing in myself. Like that, that is the results that a lot of my clients actually want to have.
yeah. And when you guys like use your own life and
Mm,
what's happening in real time, or it's like it's what you said at the beginning of this call. If you owned exactly where you're at, you'd be where you want to be. And so it's stopping the part of you that as soon as you think, oh, I could own that I'm like all in on my business. I have all these things clear now. Okay, cool. And how I got there. But then the voice that comes in that's like, yeah, but you're not owning that it's like a multi-million dollar business or that it's like, like, okay, well, like goodbye. Like it's like a bug. Like you literally just gotta, it's like, yeah, but I'm not trying to position myself, market myself as a business coach that helps people create a multi-million dollar business. That's not my work, so it's none of my business. This is literally, so me creating a business, I'm not promising that. I'm just using that this represents something that she would hold herself back from doing. So
Okay.
that's why I'm able to own it. So I would just look at when you were her, what were like, if you two have the same values, so you value your career, vision, impact, that's like one category. You value like your health, you value like relationships. Okay, so if those are your values, then you're just using your life as an example in your embodiment content as like, okay, well, the example of the impact vision career is that now I'm well into growing my business.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's an example of where I'm at with friendships? Okay, well, the quality of the friends that I have is totally different, or the people that I allow energy to, or
Yeah.
is totally different than when I was her. And then it's like, what about health and fitness? So it's maybe the routine that you're like totally normalized in now,
Yeah.
that she keeps stopping and starting.
Hmm.
Does that make
It's
sense?
Yeah, like honestly, these 4 weeks in VIP, like I can't. I'm like, I just did it again because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna come in here because I'm like, I just know it's gonna happen. And I just feel like a completely brand new human being, but just fully owns exactly where I'm at. I think because my results are so normalized. This is the epiphany that I had today. My results are so normalized because of the hard work that I put in to make them normal. That's why they're not hard anymore. And I was like, oh my God. So it's just who I am now. It's naturally who I am that I don't have to work in so like hard on so for my past not to define me that I just didn't see as actual valuable, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I've had a really
And
powerful day.
I mean, listen, like this is where you guys got to protect your energy in terms of like what you see online and shit like that because it's just neutralize it. When people do that, all they're doing is exactly what I'm saying. I mean, hopefully, I hope that they're owning what they're actually doing.
Hmm.
But it's just marketing for them. That's it. Like they're just owning exactly where they're at. But it doesn't, where it skews or messes with the industry is that when it becomes a rule, a standard, a bar that you have to like get to, or that makes your work not good enough. And I'm like, do you know how many coaches, when I started business coaching, were owning that they could help you make organically 100K months? And I was over here going, I'll help you get to five. Like
Yeah.
because like this is where I'm at. Like I'm not gonna try to act like it's any bigger, it's not enough. Like I I know, and I just really believed in my soul that there was a girl. I just focused on the one every day. I wasn't focusing on the dozens I'm trying to reach, and that's so overwhelming. And is this post going to land with all these people? I was just like, okay, it's just about the one. She's sitting
Hmm.
behind her desk. She's in her early to mid 20s. Even if she was in her 30s, I could help her. Like, she is watching the clock run down every day. She's like seeing all these online coaches do their thing. She's
Hmm.
posting content, but is kind of like guessing every day. And she really wants to start taking on clients so she can be in a position to leave. Like, that is it. I don't give a who and what other people are doing. This is
Yeah.
where I'm at. And so, because I just became so obsessed with just who I was trying to reach, what she was thinking, what she was feeling, and I just went back to 23-year-old M. Like,
Hmm.
and it wasn't about what I could afford. I think that's another barrier to entry is like, oh, well, well, where is she at in her job? And can she afford to work with me? And I'm like, I was 23 and didn't have two pennies to rub together. Like I was literally living off of paycheck to paycheck. But do you know what I was? I was hungry. I was resourceful. I saw this as like I'm starting the rest of my life. I didn't see it as a quick getting money online. Like I'll try this out. So
Mm.
you also have to get obsessed with how she views and values your work because I wasn't talking to the client that was like, oh, I'll try it out. I'm like, no, I'm speaking to the girl that's like, I'm ready to start the rest of my life. That's how I look at starting this coaching business. There's a difference.
I love that. Can I ask you just one question? Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to come as a shock. I just, because obviously being a psychic medium, I'm like, this is what I want to build, this is what I want to have, because I can see it all in spirit, they tell me. My previous mentor and the other people around me, look, I'm absolutely delusional. I'm like, I know you think that I'm delusional, but I'm like, I can feel it in my bones and I fully own that this is what I want. So how can I fully own that without sounding obnoxious from my ego, but fully knowing that I've got to stop holding myself back to water myself down for to be accepted by other people. How do I own that?
Like that you're in the process of that, do you mean?
Yeah, so people, someone said to me, yeah, so my spiritual mentor before this container said to me, yeah, when you have a spiritual business, you have to let go of the idea of success because you're here to help people. And I was like, no. I'm sorry, I don't adhere to that
I
agenda.
think we need, I think by the time you hit end meeting, I think we need to say goodbye to her because you bring her up a lot, like an ex or
Yeah.
something.
I know, do you know, it's because it was so recent, and I think there was a lot of projection of my insecurities onto me
Yeah.
that's why I feel like I needed that lesson to be like, actually, no, and this is why I think I've got so many results in this container because I have took my power back. But people say my big, oh, your little business. I'm like, I don't know what little business you're talking about. Like, I'm here to create millions and impact the lives of so many people. So I'm like, and they just look at me like I'm delusional. I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm not building a tiny little business. I just know it's going to be bigger than that.
Yeah, you're that, but like that's exactly how I looked at it when I was 23. Like it was just like I'm not building this like because like what didn't resonate with me is I want to get to 10K and chill, like 10K
Yeah.
months. And I think that that was like what everybody else wanted. And I just felt really different about that. Like, I'm like, it's really not about, but that's also why I think I grew faster than a lot of those people who started at the same time, is because I wasn't fixated on trying to get to a number. I was like so in love with my rainbow colored post-its that were on my like little shitty bedroom wall of like all of my content ideas that I had. And then, like, when I would sell private coaching, it was like, okay, I want 5 clients. So I had 5 sticky notes. And then every person that signed up, I was like taking a picture, posting it on Instagram, like in my stories, tagging them, celebrating them. Like, I was having the time of my life every day. And I just think that, like, that's all that I wanted. I'm like, I want that, and I want to wear Lululemon or workout clothes all day long and help women. Like, that's it. And so, I just think that that is like when you go to share how she views starting a business or moving forward with like a very impact driven career, it's like, how does she look at it? Is it like, oh, I'll try it out? You're not for that client. Like, you're for the client that's like, no, like I look at this as this, me starting this is such a representation of how free I am from the past. Because like a past version of me would have been like, it's not going to work. You're not good enough. Like setback, setback. And it would have, it keeps you in this cycle of dabbling. So you explain like, how I would share how you're working through that, I guess, is keeping that in mind. Number one, like how she views the things that she wants, like what, so if it's not just about creating a business and seeing how it goes, and it's like so much bigger than that, then for you, it's like, this is in real time. How I am using the work I do with my clients to work through the like a new edge around being fully seen in my business.
Okay.
And it's like you're showing them in real time like how you're using the different practices, like reframes, exercises that you have that you take them through. Like that's how I would do it. I mean, I'll send you this post as an example of how I did it. And it felt really genuine and not like I don't know. I just think people are missing a lot of opportunity with clients and people because they don't show this part. Like
Okay.
it's always just the end product all the time. Like look how great everything is. And it's like own it, sister. I love that you have this great life, but also like what happens though when your own work that you teach is put to the test, like in
Mm.
real time? How do you work through it? I mean, nothing would interest me more than this is why this post got so many likes and stuff as well. Um, Let me show you this. I'm not usually one for these kind of posts, but here it goes. This is me not knowing what to say in real time and still showing up. And people are like, Em doesn't know what to say with content. Like, oh my God, right? Like, this is me in real time going through this, right? Like, so I had a lot of good things going on, but I also had some heavy shit. So, um, yeah, this is me fighting myself as I take turns between overwhelm and gratitude. This is me fighting myself as I take turns between, that's a not double post, seeing the feedback my mentor's giving and fighting the urge to just give up on doing the work because I'm so emotionally exhausted. And still getting up, getting on the call, asking for more, and choosing to look at unpacking or upgrading anything, not out of this is what I get, but I love myself enough to only get better from here because when you chose to do this, so this is now how it has to do with my work. When you chose to do this, show your face, share all parts of you, decide what parts of your life are just for you, but then have to be the one who decides the difference between oversharing and wisdom. It also came with an unspoken responsibility. Every time I faced the pain where I could take responsibility for what happened, the lessons left for me to leverage, patterns I was turning a blind eye to. So this is all the identity stuff that I do with my clients. The people who are just reflecting back to me what I still believe about myself or what I get to have. The unsexy part of embodiment, I kept choosing it because the unspoken responsibility was that I'm leading a mission bigger than me and I'm the pilot of this plane. Taking women to a destination where they don't have to choose between a life of overflow and the right clients, being attracted to their work nonstop, and being all of them online, where they're free from doubt, pressure, shame, yada, yada. So if I'm the pilot, that doesn't get to look like a pressure-filled position to be in. That gets to look like the most powerful one I wake up to every day and get to have. As Peter Parker's uncle said as he was slipping away, with great power comes great responsibility. Remember that what you do consistently privately will always be rewarded publicly, but do it because the real reward is going to bed at night feeling proud to be that woman. So
I love.
I use myself in real time.
Mm.
Like it looks like, I don't know, I got stung by something because I was crying so much. There was like a lot of shit. But there was like, even if it was all bad and there were not great things happening, but there were both. And so it was like, I know that she has days where she's like, what do I say?
Mhm.
Because she's feeling all these things. So I'm like, I'm going to be an example of that. I'm going to model that for you, but I'm going to show you how I'm working through it, which was just me seeing it differently.
Okay.
So it was just the reframe, right? And it was my perspective about it. So I think this is definitely an example. And why I want to show you this is the reason why this post did so well
Mm.
in terms of engagement and stuff is because people now more than ever want transparency and real, raw, like I'm not trying to act like everything's perfect all the time. And this doesn't mean that you're doing it so that she feels like you're relatable and you guys can braid each other's hair and be friends. That's not the point. It's not like no one DM'd me after this and was like, "Oh, do you want to talk about it?" Like no, because it very much maintained authority because I talked about my work at the end. I talked about the position that I'm in as a mentor, right? This isn't business coach specific, what I said. And that's why
No.
a lot of people that were at the same income level as me and even like above also liked the post because this
Mm.
is a collective thing that coaches feel. But yeah, do you see how like I still was vulnerable, but I didn't make the entire post be about here's what I'm going through, it sucks, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm feeling, and then that was it. It went from the transparent part of what was actually going on, describing it and using examples, and then I was like tying it into my work. Like, this is how I look at it. This is how I work through it. This is the reframe that I want you to see. So like this is what I want you to walk away from this post, like seeing and realizing. So I think that that's when you guys really are able to show your leadership, is when you're not afraid. I mean, I was so intimidated to make that post because I'm like, people hire me to post and like know always what to say, and you're the messaging queen and da 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 da. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not doing them any favors acting like, every day is just like constant content. And because when you are having a lot of energy going towards working through something or navigating grief or whatever, I don't feel creative then, right? Like I'm focusing on what's going on, what's very real. So I know that no, she's not going through the same thing as I am. But she goes through times where a client hurts her, breaks her heart, something happens in her family, health, like, so, but I was tying it into my work and at the end, and that's why I didn't like keep it in the friend zone per se. Um, and I just think the mistake people make is that they only share like what's going on for them, what's wrong, what happened, and then
Can't
like
do
you're
that
not.
because I feel like it's a performance. Like if I'm going to build my business, I have to be able to show like all of it. And that's what I'm just going to own. And I'm like, don't it has to work like this because, and I just keep coming back to keep talking about magnetism. I'm my own magnetic when I just let go of the outcome and just be. When I just be, because I'm so passionate about what I want to speak about, and I'm so embodied in what I know, then I'm like, oh, okay, oh, it gets to be easy. And I'm like, oh, I wish I just learned this before.
But it's so badass when someone is like, I'm not perfect and I'm not trying to be, and here's how I look at it. I mean, that post showed a lot. Like I think that you have the opportunity in yours to really show like how much work you've done on yourself, where that's the way that you are choosing to look at it, lead yourself through it. But like at no point in that post did I say the words the magnetic woman. So I don't
No.
want you to always feel like, oh fuck, like I didn't say the self-led woman. Like,
Yeah.
or I have to like try to squeeze it in there. Everything that you're describing already shows that you are someone who's very self-led. By you sharing, here's how I'm literally leading myself through it and using the work you do with your clients as like the
Yeah.
steps, and then going like, yeah, because I know how to do this step, this is like I woke up this morning and feel like a totally different person. And I've done visualizations, I've gotten this done. I just had a mentorship call. Like because I did this step, this is now how I'm viewing it. So that's yeah. And then the like truth bombs, one-liners. I mean, that stuff just comes through me. Like I have to just be, whether it's spirit or like, but I don't always have like great one-liners like that. Like, but sometimes when it does come through, It's probably because like you're like I wrote that post in 5 minutes. And it's because like that's why I always tell you guys what's the most alive for you right now. There was nothing else I could think about. I was like, this is what's alive for me. Okay, how does this have to do with my client? Well, there's going to be days she doesn't know what to post because she's going through real shit behind the scenes. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to write exactly how I feel and how I'm using my work and what I'm modeling for my clients as like how I'm going to work through it. And then the one-liners just came when I was like in flow, like sitting there writing it. And I wrote it all on my phone, and then it just made it look decent. Um, on Instagram, I used Instagram stories.
Oh, okay.
So I just think, yeah, like I just want you guys to one, stop measuring what's worth owning.
Yeah.
But I think when you go to decide, okay, I want to own this, it's always about connecting it back to her because we're in a service-based business. This is about building a relationship with her. She's in your
Mhm.
audience. She needs your work. So this is where I'm always like, it always goes back to who is your work for? And
Okay.
like, why is the thing that you're about to own so high in demand for this person right now? Like,
Mhm.
not just anyone, like someone who's feeling this and wanting this. Okay, cool. So this is you've nailed that though in these 4 weeks. Like it's like this is the woman that's like stuck, defined by the past, is and it's causing her to slow down, hold back, dip her toes, start the thing, then stop, then question herself, then hate that she's in that, then go on to something else, repeat the pattern, right? So like how is what I'm about to own something she would look at and be like, oh, I just wish I could like be like that. Like, I'm so done with this. Like, I'm so ready. And it can be a feeling. Like, that's why the work that you guys do, it's not, it's like when someone knows I'm not just going to get a tangible outcome. It's like, great, that's not anything new. It's like I was saying about my coach. I looked at her work as like, I'm going to become a totally different woman because that's what she focused on more than the guy, the ring, the marriage. Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
that's a duh. Like that'll come. This, you are really showing me why being in my honeypot is such of high value, right? Because you're leading with how I'm feeling, how it's playing out, what I really want to feel when I'm dating, when I'm putting myself out there, how I want to feel with myself. Like she was raising the value of what being in your honeypot really is. And what I mean by that is she made it sound like the juiciest, hottest thing, like of just like, yeah, so she was using phrases like you want to feel chosen. I was like, I don't feel that. Yep, sign me up. Like she was saying things that, yeah, I was feeling that again, it had nothing to do with this, like the very surface level outcomes that would eventually come. It was all about how I felt about myself, how I felt when I was on a date. And so, it's like if you guys feel that right now, when you look at the things that you teach, the topics you're constantly cycling through in your content, it's like, how do you feel with those things that you can't even put a price tag on? And so sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's the way you treat the thing, sometimes it's how fast you're able to do it, sometimes it's like how you operate with it. So if money, right, so how do you treat money, look at money? How do you and money work together? Like it's constantly coming in because of the way that you started viewing it, because of the way you healed it, because of the work you do with your clients, just as an example. But so identity, like people pay a high price point for it. And the biggest receipt that I have for you guys are luxury brands. Luxury brands, the price tag on a handbag that's $4,000, that is literally this big. The materials, Not all of them, depends on the company, but the cost to produce those bags is not high. It's not. And I know from being in that industry, it's not. The material might be, right? So with some companies, but the price comes from the brand identity that was built up. So having a bag from Target is different than having a bag from Gucci. Target's not really trying to sell an identity. They're trying to sell, get a deal, get the most for the least, right? Whereas Gucci, it's like, or Dior or Louis Vuitton, it's like what they're selling is when you put on this handbag, you're going to be perceived differently, right? You're going to view yourself differently. You're going to view it what's possible for you in life differently. It's a feeling. So, how do they do that? Well, not through content on Instagram, right? It's a different industry. Well, they all have Instagrams. I shouldn't say that, but like through their photo shoots, through the design of the store, through the way that like it looks, right? When you walk in, the way that they treat you when you walk in. There's a velvet rope in front of Gucci. You can't just walk in. You have to book a reservation to go in there. So even the process of being able to enter the store
Mhm.
in Dior, you can't bring a coffee in there. You can't bring a drink. So there's standards, right, in there. Whereas like you could there's a Starbucks in Target. You could spill it, it could go on the floor. Like the standards are different.
Yeah.
So it is this like if you think every time you're convincing yourself when you go to own a feeling or identity or how you operate with the things that you teach, I just want you to immediately pull up Gucci and look at the prices because I'm not buying the bag when I go in there. Just like people aren't buying sports cars, they're buying the status.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
So yes, you guys can. That's why I talked about in Nothing But the Best when I was talking about content. Brand feeling is a thing. So when you guys choose like your colors, photos, it's not about, I don't want you to buy into the industry bullshit of like what looks high end and what doesn't. Okay, I have looked like this having a six-figure launch. So let's throw that out the door. It is not about that. It's about like, I'm not necessarily showing up like this every day, right? There's nice photos that I milk the shit out of when I have to get dressed up for anything. Like, I have my friend taking stuff, I'm taking selfies. Most of them are in my apartment. They're not, on a jet. They're like on a bridge walking out of a restaurant. Like, yeah, so I will do that. I care about it looking nice. That all adds to the feeling. But what also adds to your brand feeling is your body language when you show up, your conviction, your confidence to just get on camera and say what you want to say, own what you want to own, not hiding behind Instagram story slides all the time. Like, that's why I had a six-figure launch when I looked like this 90% of the time because people were like, I can feel that you know what you're talking about, that you see what's possible for me. And that, you know what I mean? Like, so uh, when these luxury brands have an ad and there's a voiceover, they're not just going to choose anyone. Like, they're going to choose someone that sounds convicted, that sounds like maybe sexy, right? They have like a little bit of an accent, right? Like, it all adds to it. So that's why I love making stuff look pretty. I'm a very visual person, but I don't like that's not the only way. That's why you see me show up on stories, sell masterminds, sell low ticket stuff, and I'm fresh out of the gym because I know and have receipts of it and my clients that that's not the only reason why people buy, and that's not the only way to give that brand feeling. Like the magnetic woman owns all parts of herself. So how could I tell myself, oh, well, Em, you got to wait till you do your hair?
Hmm.
Like it would be going against the brand and everything that I stand for, right? But when I am put together, it's like I want to be seen. I have a very girly side to me. So it's like, yeah, I want to get on camera, or yeah, I want to take the photo, or I feel good, or I like this outfit. Like, duh. But it's not the source of what makes me magnetic.
So is the brand identity and feeling quite similar then?
In a way, so I think that the brand feeling like adds to the identity. So what would be really like helpful for you is that I just got clear on like, so you would put like the self-led woman, okay? And then you could use it's things that you're gravitated towards though, right? So like this obviously has to be sustainable. Like I don't want you to think there's a formula for this of like how it should look. But like when I hear self-led, I think grounded, I think confident, I think powerful, I think of a woman who knows where she's going. So it would be you looking at, okay, like when I think of those things, when I look at like this color or this font, does it give me this feeling of like solid, powerful, like forward direction? And that could be it's just because it's a really bold font and it's like easy to read, right? It's potent, it's to the point. Okay, cool, right? Or I'm naturally gravitated towards hot pink because that to me represents the like bold, like have fun, like accept all parts of yourself, like kind of side to the brand. The reason why I use neutrals is there's also this very like sophisticated part of my brand, which is the detailed strategy, right? How I love like nerding out with you guys on like planning and messaging. But then there's like the fun, like the bold, like the identity stuff. Well, I see that more as like the hot pink, right, is representative of that. But also I'm gravitated towards hot pink. You can't talk me out of it. I don't care if it looks whatever. Like that will always be my color. I can't break up with it.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want you to obsess over what it needs to look like. It's just a combination of like, there's certain colors that make you feel certain things, right? There's
Oh,
certain fonts that make you feel certain things. But there's also like when I choose photos of me, there's like I like choosing the ones that looks like, right? Because I'm laughing, because I have a big smile on my face. That to me gives off like I'm at peace, I'm having fun, I'm having the time of my life. I don't care who, like, everything's rolling off my shoulders, right? Well, that's definitely the magnetic woman. But there's also these like photos of me where I'm like, get out of my way.
mm,
That are like bold, confident. I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm standing in a certain way. So, how I got like, I guess, used to this in terms of like what to choose is playing with like other examples that you see. So, like, this is where Pinterest, the explore page, it's not about mimicking. It's about going like, okay, why was my eye drawn towards that square? When I'm just like mindlessly scrolling on the explore page, why was it drawn towards that reel or that? Okay, and what do I feel when I look at this photo? What do I feel when I like see this kind of text? I mean, there's certain text that like annoys me to read. Like, yeah, it's just like all over, it's like weird looking, it's not powerful, or it kind of looks like kiddish, or yeah, so I would never use it.
yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, I get that because like pink and green are my colors, not because they're branding, it's just because I absolutely love them. Like my headphones are green, my AirPods are green, like I brought green, like it's just who I actually am. So no, but I love that.
all right.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you were able to make the call. Hi. Do you want to take yourself off mute or are you gonna type?
No, I
Hi,
just type it, but yeah.
how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. It's really useful. I really enjoyed the call.
What's going on? What can I support you with? I feel like we haven't, I've seen you with the content to cash flow. You were like on
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying the audios. Like, I really had time to catch up. Um, yeah, I really don't have any questions at the moment, but I think, yeah, I've been really working on owning also the identity of the brand. So, yeah.
So it's like just looking at it as it's one name or way of like describing it. So magnetic woman's what I landed on and what
Mm,
resonates with me. And when you read it back to yourself, it should like evoke a feeling. And it usually is like a phrase you've already been using with clients or in your content, because it resonates already. So yeah, like it's that, but then it's going, okay. So if that doesn't mean anything when I say the magnetic woman to my dream client, so I have to define it in my content. So it's like, how would the magnetic woman choose her next offer? If she was out of this, I need to get people to see my value. I need to chase people. How would she choose her next offer? If she's no longer in that identity and she's like, no, like I'm constantly going first, like going after what I want, like I create opportunity, I don't wait for it. If she's in that, how is she going to decide her next offer? So I could just talk about the identity part, like how I know in offers I'm ready to let go of one and replace it with something else. Like, but that is a pillar, right? Of
mm,
like offer suite, building overflow. So each of the like legs of your brand, there's so many like subcategories to each of them. So like with offer suite, there's so many things I could talk about. So it's like what is something that is the most alive for me right now? And how is it relative to something that she's trying to work through right now? And so the brand identity part is like, I could either make a post about here's behind the scenes of how I'm going to have a six-figure launch uh, this month for my mastermind. Okay, well, she's like, ooh, right? I haven't had that, or what does that look like, or what is she doing? So I'm gonna say, okay, here is how I normally would have chosen or designed this launch. And what I'm gonna do in that like second slide is describe how she's probably operating right now. So I'm describing a past version of me, which is where she's at. So it's like the anti-brand identity. So I'm still trying to come up with a name for it, but like it's like the opposite of the magnetic woman. So it's like, okay, would she try to have a six-figure launch in the past? Okay, so normally I would do this. Normally I would do this because I think to myself, this is the only way that the mastermind's going to sell out. Right. So that's not how I do it now because I shifted this and this allows me to view my audience this way. So now I'm talking about the identity piece. So that's one leg. Then I'm now going into, okay, well, then how do I strategically map out this launch? What am I maybe doing with my messaging? Uh, yeah, so it's like these different legs I could use where it's a little bit of identity, but it's also strategy. But I could also just make that post about here's how I'm viewing selling out this mastermind uh, for the month of June. And
mm,
I'm not even going to get into strategy. And I'm just going to own, okay, how does the magnetic woman, now me, view selling out this mastermind? So sometimes your content can be like a little bit of the identity part and you owning you view yourself differently. Where did that come from? How did you get to that place? But it can also be a little bit of the practical steps that you do with your clients. And then sometimes it's like, no, I just want to make it about how I'm going to view myself and the audience and my offer. and when I show up every day, what I'm going to be thinking, what I'm going to be telling myself. So it can just be the entire post is all about identity, like how the magnetic woman is going to view herself, her clients, her audience, the offer as she sells this. And so I'm not even going to get into the practical things I'm going to be doing. So it's just you like looking at the legs of your brand. And this is where I always come up with content. But I'm like, when I look at the things I teach, let me just brain dump out like, what are all the problems that she's having with this? When I know what my end outcome that this client wants is, which is attracting high level clients nonstop, okay, well, what is she running into with each of these things? And I just brain dump them all out. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have a menu to choose from. And when I look at each thing I wrote down, I'm like, okay, do I want to turn this into a problem awareness post and make it about the identity she needs to step into and how she's going to get there? No. Okay. Well, I have this story of like, I remember when I changed this in my identity. That actually feels easiest for me to write a post like that today. That's where I'm going to go. Like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
can I add something?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, talking about stories, that's such a great idea because today, for example, I was buying stuff for myself and I actually thought, wait, that's actually a great idea. But not only for a post, also for an offer, because I like the way that you mentioned that you have like the steps, the phases that each client has on Telegram, for example. So I remember I'm also on one of your challenges. I think it's like cash injection queen, I think it was. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, so I also have like these challenges that I made for free, and obviously now I charge for them. But then I thought, okay, what's the next step? And so I was buying stuff for myself, and I thought, okay, survivors of abuse, because that's my niche. Um, they usually they don't feel worthy of buying stuff for themselves, just investing in themselves. So I'm now developing a new mini program relating that. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that it's just getting like things from my own experience, which is also working.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like my so if she's a survivor from narcissistic abuse, then it's like, what is the identity that she takes on in your world? Right?
Mm.
So if this identity, it's called something, right? This is where you would be like, okay, how am I going to write this post and own how I was like buying things for myself and I
Mm-hmm.
felt worthy of it and I was excited and it's all through the lens of, it could be called like the worthy woman, right? Like the worthy and I always try to play with like alliteration, but sometimes it doesn't really fit. I'm like
I
always like
actually
I'm
had
like
a title like for the program. It starts with two P's, so it's like permission to purchase, something like that.
well, that's the name of the program. I'm trying to
Yeah.
like get what is like the overall identity she's gonna step into. So I know the
Mm.
identity she's in right now. Like she doesn't feel worthy. She's a survivor, right? But then it's like when she enters your world, who is she? So the magnetic woman's the example, right? That's like the
Mm.
dream identity. So, all right, well then is it worthy and it could just be the worthy woman. But it's like,
Mm.
again, that phrase by itself isn't going to mean anything until your content starts giving it meaning. So if you
Mm.
use the example of your program that you're going to sell, like like your own, how you're living that out, like what you're going to be teaching them, um, is yeah, like how I went from, so you could do like a personal story then to now, like how I went from every time I'd pull up like a payment link to go invest in something, talking myself out of it, feeling like I should just wait and, I'm probably not good. Whatever thoughts used to come up that she's thinking.
Yeah.
Two, what? Like to hitting pay without even thinking about it. Like, or hitting pay, like with the only thoughts of, like, I can't wait to dive in. Like, I'm so worthy of this support, dot, dot, dot. And then
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, you're describing how it used to look, what used to go through your mind, what was the F this shit moment where you were like, I'm done with this because it wasn't serving you, right? So this is where you might describe like, I just got to a point where I realized that the more I stayed in that cycle, I wasn't moving forward, growing my business, right? Or I wasn't getting the answers or clarity that I needed while I was watching everyone else move forward, right? And so
Hmm.
then it's like, what did you start doing differently? So now you're going to break down basically like the main focuses of what you're going to work on in the program.
Hmm.
And it's like step one, I started doing this. And when I started doing this, this is what started to happen. Then I rebuilt, my self-trust or whatever the next step is. And then because of that, this is what started to happen. And sometimes when you guys break down what you did differently, I said this in the nothing but the best, but sometimes I'll use like little examples at the bottom. So I'll say, example, I remember replacing this with this, and this is why I created this outcome. So I'm like using myself as like the little like cliff note at the bottom of like an example. So you're breaking down what she needs to be doing, why it's going to work, or what outcomes are going to be created. And then you could do a direct call to action. Like, I don't know when this program is going to be, but it would be like, when you're ready to become the worthy woman who like invests and um yeah, this is where you could use the phrase, what's the name again for the program?
Permission to purchase, like the two piece.
Yeah, like when you're ready to become the worthy woman who gives
Mm.
herself permission to purchase and therefore like moves forward with the results and outcomes she wants to create in business and life without um the narcissist from the past like haunting you, slowing you down, or convincing you that you can't. You're ready for my work.
Yeah.
Like that would be such a on time da da da. And then like in the caption, you could do like at the end of the caption. Captions are like like forgotten about yeah, like they're kind of just like annoying. Like I honestly hate captions because I put so much into like the post. So this is where what I usually do is I'll take like the last two slides usually, and that'll just be the caption. And then for you, I would just add on the CTA, like, the um oh my God, I just lost the name again. The
Permission. Wait.
permission to purchase.
Yeah.
The permission to purchase mini program is dropping on X date or pre-sale pricing is dropping on X date. Like DM me PP, maybe not PP, but DM.
Yeah, I haven't thought of the date, but
Like
yeah.
maybe it's like a crown and the money emoji or something. Like
Yeah.
DM me these two emojis for like early details. And then I mean, like I literally would think of an offer and that day start selling it. Like I just became this machine of like, I am not sitting on energy. I don't effing care if like the outline's not done. Like no one knows this. I think I might have shared it like in one of the calls, but the entire curriculum of Nothing But the Best like wasn't done until like we were already a weekend.
Hmm.
That's how fast I move. All that was laid out before I started selling it was the name, in general, things I knew I was going to cover, and the price point. And I just started selling it because I'm like, she's not going to see this like fucking curriculum. Like, like because that's not what she's buying. She's buying the things I have gotten clear on, which is the main things we're covering, the outcomes it's going to give her, right? Like the 31 days, like jumpstart, like become magnetic with sales, nothing but the best clients. Okay, great. Like we're moving. So that's why like it was a Google Doc. There was no sales page yet. Like I think my team, we finally didn't get it done until like maybe week 2. We were already like the challenge already started. So like that's what I mean. Like you like there's a lot, whether it's content or whether it's your next offer or masterclass, there's a lot of magic that can happen from moving with the energy and not, oh, I need to wait. Oh, it's not
Yeah.
done. Oh, it's not like if I'm at this stage in my business and that's still how things go, like I'm telling you, like nothing gets missed. All my clients are taken care of. I'm still posting every day. I'm still selling every day. But this is why it's like a lot of sales come in because I don't wait, because people can feel like, oh, she's excited. She's into this. What is this? Da, da, da. Because if I waited, like the energy would
Oops.
start going
Sorry,
up.
what my cat?
That's all right. Um, so yeah, I think, I mean, I would just move on that ASAP. And maybe like for the next week or so, like it's like, okay, permission to purchase, like I'm clear on where this woman's at with investing in herself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she wants to get better at it because she wants to keep investing. She has a little bit, but like not consistently because this is what comes up for her. This is what comes up for her. This is then what she does with that thought. So she holds herself back. She pulls up the sales page. She keeps creeping on the coach. She keeps like looking at their stories incessantly, then telling herself she's not ready yet. Okay, well, what are all my solutions for those problems? And if she doesn't move on this program, what are all the consequences that she's gonna face? What are all the
Mm-hmm.
things she's gonna miss out on? So right now you're upping the value because now you're not just pointing out what she's doing, what's going on. You're saying, here are the consequences of you not shifting this. Okay, oh my God, I need this. Like, this is amazing. Cool. Here's the solution. Permission to purchase. It's a program, right? So that's like literally what messaging is. I mean, you are simply just identifying what's going on, what's wrong. And if she doesn't like when she does this, here are the consequences she keeps falling into. Well, she's not growing her business. She's not getting the support that she wants. She's missing out on the clarity that she knows that she needs, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
not shifting patterns. If this is like a mentor she's investing in about that, like, and then yeah, like it's like when you break down what are the solutions I have to those problems, well, those are the things you're teaching in the program. And then I would write after that, next to each of the things you're going to teach, what are the outcomes that are going to be created for her because of each of those steps? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and when you read back these outcomes, it's like always try to think, is this outcome going to attract someone who's not just going to buy this program, but is going to hire me one to one after this? Like this is an outcome that someone that I want to work with who wants to keep growing after this program, who values this work the way that I do, who sees it as so much more than like, oh, just tell me like how I can feel worthy of buying things like for myself and not feel guilty and get out of this guilt around money. Um, yeah, like why does she want it? What does she ultimately want? So this is why Cash Injection Queen led to a lot of long-term clients, is because I didn't lead with the messaging that's like, here's an outcome, inject cash into your business. The outcomes I led with was no, become the woman who creates opportunity on demand in her business. Like, when you learn cash injections, like you will have the freedom in your business to literally make sales every day, multiple times a day, without needing more Instagram stories or more emails to do it. That takes inject cash in your business and stretches it. And now it's like, oh, well, if I had that, like, holy shit, like now the value goes up. So this is why it attracted a lot of long-term clients because it was attracting a woman or a kind of woman who was like, like, I want to learn this, but I want to keep going. Like, and that's why people came to me before it was even over and were like, how do I come in the membership? How do I come into the mastermind? Because I wasn't treating the messaging like, oh, well, this is just a $17 offer and it's no biggie and I don't have to really try. And like, I was like, no, this is a literally like this could be the first time that a client who ends up becoming a 4 year long client ends up meeting me. So if that's the case, who is that client? Well, she wants to keep going the distance. So how does she look at creating cash flow in her business? Like, why does she want it? Like, what is it going to ultimately lead to her having? Like, it just became so much bigger than that. And that's where I made a $17 offer look like it was $17,000.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the conversion into like long-term clients doesn't start in the pitch when you guys go to like at the end of permission to purchase. Like it doesn't start where you're going, oh, now that you learned like this, and this, I have spots open for my private coaching. That's not when the conversion starts. The conversion starts all the way in the beginning with your stories and your messaging because that's what calls in this person in the first place.
Hmm.
It's also in your content, right? Like you guys get to own these kinds of outcomes and the feelings and the identities, right? Like all the time. So that you just have a brand where it's like the client like trying it out, she's just not even in your world. Like I don't have that. Like people don't come in going, great, I'll try it. Like I'll like dip my toes. There is no toe dipping. There is no like like I'm just gonna see how it goes. Like this is why people come in, like you guys who are just like, no, I'm ready to go and I know where I'm going and I know what I want and yeah, like I don't just see this as a like one and done means to an end growing this thing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but like I really need to go.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, because I scheduled like for an hour or so, and we're a bit past it. So yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry if I
yeah,
made
and
you
no, it's
wait.
okay. Like I really enjoyed the call. And if you continue without me, I will make sure to watch the replay as well.
All right. Well, have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All that I was gonna say is that we are gonna have one more call because we have like a makeup call
Mhm.
that we did not. So that's next week on the 17th at 1 p.m. Central. So I can send that to you guys and all the things. And yeah, we'll go from there. But you guys are amazing. I will let you go. I'll stop talking. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.